say next chapter, parametrization. See, first chapter index. What is parametrization? See, important chapter, concentrate. What is parametrization? Next, purpose of parametrization. Purpose of parametrization. Next, what is data driven testing? What is data driven testing? Next, relation between parameterization and data driven testing. See, parameterization, data driven testing, both are not same. Relation between parameterization and data driven testing. Next, why data driven testing? Why data driven testing? Next, how to parameterize. How to parameterize. Next, ways of parameterization. Ways of parameterization. See, this is the chapter index. See, last one, practical concept. First, theory. What is parameterization? It is global feature. Global feature. You can find parameterization feature in all programming languages and scripting languages, not only in UFT test automation. Can you tell me, Nagesh, what is parameterization?
Instead of a constant, if we provide some variable names, then we call it as a parameterization.
Instead of?
I mean, by putting the constants, instead of if we give this some variable names for storing any value, then we call it as a parameterization.
For storing any value. What is storing? Confusion. Instead of constant values, variables, okay, but what is storing? Here no storing concept. Continue, J1. Tell me, what is parameterization? Tell me in your own words.
Placing input to the existing values.
Existing values. Okay. Say, replacing constant values with parameters. Say, simple. Replacing constant values. Replacing constant values with parameters. See here, constant value means fixed value. See, we have two types of constants. This is English constant, English term constant. Next, VB script term constant also there. That is different. See here, constant means fixed value. Replacing constant values, with parameters. See, parameters place we use variables or arguments or dictionary items, several containers available. That I will explain. See, just remember, suppose user ID, password, user ID, ABCD, that is constant value. If you execute that script 10 times it takes ABCD only. that is constant value. Suppose instead of ABCD, if you take variable, suppose variable X, you can pass dynamic values or you can pass multiple values also. See, replacing constant values with parameters is called parametrization. Next, purpose of parametrization. Purpose. Tell me, Surasri, purpose of parametrization. Indirectly I covered that concept.
Sir, the purpose of parameterization is for testing the data over and multiple data.
Just a minute. No, say for parameterization, no relation with data. No relation,
with multiple values.
1 minute. No relation with testing. Parameterization is global feature.
Okay.
Okay. Say to pass single dynamic values. To pass single dynamic values. Suppose I have one function called login. In that inputs user ID password. If I use user ID ABCD password XYZ, those are constant values. Every time it uses those constant values. Suppose I want to use dynamic values. Suppose for first test user ID 1 password 1. For second test I am calling same login function from 10 tests. For first test user ID 1 password 1. For second test user ID 2 password 2. For third test user ID 3 password 3, like that. For every test I want to use dynamic value, unique value. For that you can use parameterization. If you use constant value, fixed value for every test. I want to pass single value only, but every time new value. To do this, you can use parameterization. Next, to pass multiple values using any resource. Example, Excel file is resource, data table is resource. Using any resource, you can connect multiple sets of test data. Say, to pass multiple values. It is for data driven testing. To pass multiple values. See, this is the purpose of parameterization. Next, what is data driven testing? What is data driven testing? Sneha, what is data driven testing?
To use multiple sets of data.
To use multiple sets of data. Less clarity. Can you tell me, Nagesh, what is data driven testing?
Testing the same scenario with the different test data.
Good. Testing the same functionality with multiple sets of test data. See. Testing the same functionality or same operation with multiple sets of test data. Okay, suppose for one input my application is responding fine. Why I need to test with multiple inputs? Suppose user ID 1, password 1, login functionality is working fine. Why I need to test with different user IDs and passwords? Muhammad Kamal, Muhammad Sohail.
Sir?
Why data driven testing? Suppose for one input my application is responding fine. Then why I need to test with multiple inputs? Getting my point? Suppose login functionality is there. User ID 1, password 1. login is working fine, then why I need to test with multiple user IDs and passwords?
To check the functionality.
For checking functionality, one input is enough. If it is valid input, login successful, otherwise login will be failed. Okay. Can you tell me, Surasri, why data driven testing? Already we discussed this concept in first chapter.
For input coverage.
Input coverage. Less clarity. Okay.
Sir, because we have to check the positive as well as negative data.
Good. Correct answer. See, for positive and negative, testing. Say, for valid inputs, my application is responding fine. What about handling of invalid inputs? It has to accept valid inputs and prevent invalid inputs. See, for positive and negative testing, we perform data-driven testing. Okay, then what is the relation between parameterization and data-driven testing? Already we discussed. Parameterization, data-driven testing, both are not same. Parameterization is global feature, data-driven testing is local feature. Parameterization.
Data-driven is a subset of parameterization, we can call it.
Yes, you can call like that. But parameterization is global feature, data-driven testing is pure local feature. You can find data-driven testing term in test automation only. But parameterization in C language and Java language, Oracle, you take any programming language or scripting language, you can find parameterization feature. Okay. Now tell me, Jeevan, what is the relation between parameterization and data-driven testing? Which one is superior?
Yeah, parameterization is superior.
Parameterization is superior. Okay. See, relation is we use parameterization feature. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. See, this is the relation. We use parameterization feature in data-driven testing. Relation, okay. What is the difference between parameterization and data-driven testing? See, data-driven testing means passing multiple values. Passing single value meaningless. Passing multiple values, that is data-driven testing. Parameterization means not only passing multiple values, also passing single value, also parameterization. See, parameterization, not only passing multiple values, passing single value also parameterization. But data-driven testing means passing multiple values only. Passing single value, no meaning, data-driven. Okay, see. See, I think all of you familiar with these four concepts. See, remember once again. Tell me, Muhammad, what is parameterization? Quick.
Replacing constant values with parameters.
Parameters, good. Next, purpose of parameterization, Sneha. Purpose of parameterization. Sneha.
To pass dynamic values to a
pass
constant.
Single dynamic value
To a
or
constant.
To to pass single dynamic value or to pass multiple values?
Multiple values.
Okay. Next, Nagesh, what is data driven testing and why data driven testing?
Testing the same functionality with multiple sets of test data is data driven testing. And to cover the positive and negative testing, we are using the data driven testing.
Good. Next, Jeevan, relation between parameterization and data driven testing and difference between them.
Yeah, we use parameterization feature in data driven.
Data driven testing. Next, difference.
In parameterization, we can pass single and multiple values.
Single or multiple values.
Yeah. And whereas in data driven, we only pass multiple
values. Single value meaningless. Okay. I think all of you familiar with these four concepts. What is parameterization? Purpose of parameterization? What is data driven testing? Why data driven testing? And relation between parameterization and data driven testing. Next, how to parameterize. See, for carrying values, we have different containers. See, we can use either variables as parameters. We can use either variables or constants. See, VB script constants. Already I told in our test automation two types of constants. One is English term constant, another is VB script term constant. Already we used VB script constants in descriptive programming chapter. Constants are used to replace literal values and constants never change. English constant means fixed value. See, we can use either VB script variables or VB script constants or arguments. See, we use arguments as parameters in functions or data table parameters or action parameters or environment variables or dictionary keys as parameters. See, we have different containers for carrying values, but most of the time we use variables if it is script level. If it is function level, we use arguments. See, if it is script level, generally we use variables. If it is function level, we use arguments. But I will introduce all types of parameters based on your company environment. You can use them. Say, tell me, Muhammad Sohail, how to parameterize?
Yes, sir. We can use either variables, constant, arguments, data table, actions.
Data table parameters, action
Data table
parameters.
parameters, action as parameters, and environment variables or dictionary keys as parameters.
Good. Say once again, we can use either VB script variables or VB script constants or arguments or data table parameters or action parameters or dictionary keys or environment variables as parameters. Put mute. See, just a minute. See why some people not joined today. Put mute. Vaishali?
Yes, sir. I'm trying to connect team viewer.
You try just 2 minutes na.
Excuse me, sir.
It takes just 2 minutes.
I just joined.
Okay. Can you view my desktop?
Not yet, sir. I'm trying to download it right now.
See, just a 2 minutes installation. First of all, you are very late. Try to join in time.
Okay.
See here, ID also there. In right side, partner ID, you type this one. ID 405406591, password 2268. Put mute. Just a minute. See, some people not responding today. Can you view my desktop, Vaishali?
Not yet, sir.
What is the problem, Vaishali? Very simple. So you launch TeamViewer and type our ID right side partner ID field and click on connect to partner, then type password. Okay. See. Next, ways of parametrization. See, concentrate. This is practical concept. Ways of parametrization. See, after connecting, inform me, Vaishali. See.
Okay, sir. Okay.
See, first way, generate and pass values using loop statements. Generate and pass using loop statements. See, pass values, okay, that is parametrization. But what is generating? See, generally for data driven testing, resource required. Example, test data file is resource. Test is one entity, test data is another entity. We have to connect test data with the test. For test data, resource file is required. Example, test data file. But in this usage, no resource required. Generate and pass values using loop statement. See, loop statements only generate the data. Observe. Observe. Vaishali joined?
Sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Pardon?
No, sir.
What is the problem, Vaishali? It is just 2 minutes. What is the
I
problem?
understand, but I think my computer has a bug and it's something wrong with my computer, sir.
See, just install TeamViewer and launch TeamViewer. Here enter partner ID. ID is there in Skype. After that, click this one, connect to partner. Then it asks password. Type password 2268. It is very simple thing. 2 minutes, including
I understand.
installation.
I'm trying. So you keep
What
on
is you
with the
trying?
class.
You try
sir. I
for
will
2
try,
hours.
sir.
Okay, try 2 hours. Okay, cool. Say open order operation. Open order. See, record the navigation. Stop. Same, I'm opening first order. If you want to observe the test data, just insert wait statement. It is optional. Run the script. See, 1. Order number 1. Over. Over. Next, I want to open first 5 orders. 1 to 5 orders. See, loop. For, see, a loop syntax I will explain in VB script loop statements chapter. Now just I am using for loop. In loop statements chapter I will explain all 4 types of loops in VB script. For I equal to 1 to 5 range. Next, step 1, increment 1. For increment 1, step 1 optional. One increment is default in for loop. If other than 1, use step statement. See, for 1 increment, step is optional. See, pass I as parameter. Now it will open 1 to 5 orders. Put base state and run the script. Observe Nagesh. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Observe Nagesh. Here test is open order operation. What is the test data?
Test data is 1 to 5 numbers, sir.
1,
Order
2,
number
3,
1 to
4,
5.
5. 1,
Yes,
2,
sir.
3, 4, 5 numbers. Who is producing that values?
For loop, sir.
For loop. Logic is producing. We are not using any data file now. Here some limitations are there for generating test data. Some limitations are there. Observe. First, possibilities. First, possibilities. We can generate using loop statements. We can generate sequential numbers. Sequential numbers. Example, any range 1, 2, 3 like this, or from 40, 41, 42 like this. Next, we can generate logical numbers. We can generate logical numbers. example, 2, I want to open only even numbers, 2, 4, 6 like this, or odd numbers, 1, 3, 5 like this, or I want to open every 10th record up to 100, 10, 20, 30, logic is there. You can use step 10, but limitations. See, first one, we cannot generate desired numbers. See, we can't generate desired numbers. Next, example, suppose I want to open 1, 7, 20, 37. Observe this range, observe these numbers, J1. Can we generate these numbers? 1, 7, 20, 37?
No, sir.
No. No logic, no sequence. Next, we cannot generate string type data, alphabets, etc. We cannot generate alphabets and alphanumeric combinations. We cannot generate string type data. Example, user ID, password, city name, etc. Tell me, Surasri, for generating test data using loop statements, 2 possibilities and 2 limitations available. What are the possibilities and what are the limitations?
Sir, possibilities are that we can generate sequential number, and another possibility is that we can generate logical numbers, which has some logic basically. And limitations are we can't generate desired number, I mean any random number for that matter, and we cannot generate string type data, like username, password, city name, etc.
Username, password, city name, etc. Say, Parvin, observe, I want to just try to improve the logic. Parvin, I want to open 1 to 5 orders except 4th order. Understand the requirement, Parvin? What is my requirement?
Sir?
What is my requirement?
I cannot do it.
Why? What is the problem? Can you tell me, J1? Understand my requirement?
Yeah, because they are not in a sequence.
Not in a sequence. Use logic. Insert conditional statements under loop. Within loop you can use condition. My requirement, see, observe. See, very simple. Try to improve the logic. Say, open, my requirement, open 1 to 5 orders except 4th order. This is my requirement. Nagesh, can you tell me the logic?
Yes, sir. After the first statement, we can give the statement like if I is not equal to 4.
Good. If I not equal to diamond operator. If I not equal to 4, then execute. If I equal to 4, don't execute. Bypass the condition. Put mute. Now observe.
Sir, this is Vaishali. Can I have a meeting ID number, sir?
Already I typed in Skype. Observe, you watch in Skype. 3 times I typed. You didn't find that one? Say once again. 405 406 591.
405 406 591 and password is 2268. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Say. Run the script. See, first put base state. Run the script. Observe Parvin. One, 2, 3, 5. No 4. Okay, now Parvin, did you understand this logic? Any confusion?
Yes, sir. I get that.
Okay, cool. Next, small extension. Muhammad Sohail, I want to open 1 to 10 orders except 4th order and 7th order.
That's if I diamond operator 4 and I diamond operator 7.
Good. And operator. This is compound condition. Earlier single condition, this is compound condition. Again, I not equal to 7. This time it will execute 1 to 10 orders except 4th and 7th orders. Put base state, run the script. Just a minute. One, 2, 3, 5, no 4. Why? Oh, here I didn't change this one. One, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, no 7, 9, 10. Over. Next, one small one. Parvin, tell me. I want to open 1 to 5 orders in reverse order. Simple.
Yes, sir. Step -1.
Good. 1 to 5. Step -1. No condition required. Put base state.
Sir, 5 to 1, I think, for I equal.
Yes, good. 5 to 1. Good. Run the script. 5, 4, 3, 1. Over. See, first one completed. Generate and pass values using loop statements. Here limitations we discussed. What are the limitations, Vaishali? For generating test data, what are the limitations? Vaishali.
Yes, sir.
Did you join?
Yes, sir. I am here.
Can you view my desktop?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Tell me, what are the limitations for generating test data? Limitations.
I mean, you cannot get the.
Cannot get the. Concentrate. You tell me, Sneha, what are the limitations for generating test data?
One is you can't generate you can't use alphabet.
We can't
data?
generate string type data. Alphabets
String
or
type,
alphanumeric special characters combinations, anything. We cannot generate string type data. Next, we cannot generate desired numbers na. Suppose if no sequence, no logic. Suppose 1, 7, 10, 20, 33, 48. We cannot generate that type of data na.
Yes, sir.
Okay, one small remedy is there. Concentrate. Nowadays it is important one. Second way of parametrization, dynamic test data submission. Dynamic test data submission. See, in this way also, no test data file required, and we can enter desired numbers and string type. We can pass string type data, desired numbers also. No test data file required, but one small limitation is there. It is only recommendable for small amount of data, not for large amount of data. Small amount of data means 3 records, 5 records, etc. Not recommendable for large amount of data, 50 records, 100 records, 200 records. Why? For every iteration, for every test iteration, user means tester interaction is mandatory. Observe. Login operation. Record the navigation. Activate the dialog. Enter agent name. Enter password. Click OK. Stop recording. Just run the script. Run it once. Perform dry run. See, executing fine. Next, dynamic test data submission. For I, here I is just dummy. I 1, 2, 3. Here we are going to use string type data, agent name, password, but no test data file. User has to submit the data for every iteration. Say I am taking two variables, agent, password. If you want to observe, okay, wait statement not mandatory. Next, read the data through input devices. Agent equal to input box. See, MSG box for display, output. Input box for reading. Input box of any meaningful message. Enter agent name. Next, password. Input box. It is also built-in function of VB script. Enter password. Run the script. See, agent name Hyderabad, password Mercury. See, it is taking Hyderabad. Next, Mumbai. It is taking Mumbai. Next, Delhi. See, it is taking Delhi. See, 3 iterations. Jeevan, here also no test data na?
Yes.
But it is not recommendable for large amount of data na? Why? What is the reason?
Because user has to input manually.
Yes, user interaction is mandatory for every iteration. It is recommendable for small amount of data only. If it is 3 records or 5 records, you can use this one. If it is large amount of data, example 100 records, 200 records, it is not recommendable. And one more thing, nowadays it is very important thing. Nowadays it is very important feature for entering CAPTCHA fields. CAPTCHA fields. See, observe. Just a minute. Note. It is the only solution. It is the only solution to enter CAPTCHA fields. CAPTCHA, Nagesh, you know this term CAPTCHA? What is CAPTCHA?
No, sir, I don't know about this.
See, nowadays most of the public web applications using this CAPTCHA field. CAPTCHA means verification code. See, nowadays most of the public web applications using this field to check whether the user is manual user or not. See, you take Gmail. Just a minute.
Sir, is this the field one while we are trying to book a railway ticket, it will give enter some code?
Not only railway ticket.
I mean,
Say,
something like that, similar to that
you
one.
take any public web application, most of the web applications are using CAPTCHA field. I will show that one.
Okay.
See, create an account. Here observe. This is creating Google account, new account. Here name, first name, last name, choose username, create password, confirm birthday, etc. fields are there, phone number. Here last, CAPTCHA field is there now. Observe Nagesh.
Yes, sir.
See, here CAPTCHA. It is dynamic. Every time it generates randomly. Suppose I want to perform data, suppose my application is Gmail application. I want to perform data driven testing for this create account operation. See, suppose in this form 10 fields are there, 9 fields general fields, 1 field CAPTCHA field. For 9 fields I can prepare test data in an Excel file or text file. For 10th field I cannot prepare test data. Why? It is dynamic, isn't it, Nagesh?
Yes, sir.
See, for those 9 fields use test data file. For this 10th field use dynamic test data submission feature. Every time read the value and type. See, nowadays this feature is very important. Understand the concept, Muhammad Sohail?
Sir, we can get the value by using the get RO property method,
No,
right?
it is not. See, actually that is illegal. You cannot take that one. Why? That is not object. That is image. Observe. Suppose if UFT implements capturing CAPTCHA value, that is illegal, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Violating the rules. So they won't implement that one. Even though they are able to implement, they won't implement. Why? That is illegal. See, observe. Just a minute. Put mute. This is CAPTCHA field. Here 2 fields. Okay, if you can read that one, you can concatenate. See, tools, object spy, take hand icon, show the object. Actually that value 2279, this is image object. Observe, Nagesh. Which one is indicating that 2279?
Nothing, sir.
No property. So you cannot use getRO property method na?
Yes, sir.
Suppose second one. This one also image. Here value is 29894289. See, observe property values. See, no one is indicating that value. So you cannot capture that value using getRO property method, isn't it?
Yes, sir, got it.
And one more thing, in future versions also they won't implement that one. Why? It is illegal. So read the verification code. See, CAPTCHA. Observe, CAPTCHA. CAPTCHA means verification code. It checks whether the user is human user or not. See, some hackers nowadays trying with automation tools, entering lakhs of records into web applications. In order to avoid that type of problems, Nowadays, most of the public web applications is following this verification code. Okay, by reading that value only you can enter. See, understand the concept, Muhammad. What is the major advantage of dynamic submission of test data feature?
Yes, sir, I understand.
It is the only solution for entering CAPTCHA fields na?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same. So far we discussed two ways of parameterization. One is generate and pass values using loop statements. Next, dynamic submission of test data. Next, using data table. Using data table. See, just a minute. Using data table. Tell me, Varalakshmi, what is data table? Varalakshmi, can you hear me?
Sir, I don't remember, sir, properly.
Okay, cool. Surasri, what is data table?
Sir, it is a table which has set of data in it, like
It has
in
set
Excel
of data.
sheet.
Already has data. Okay.
We can input the data
Yes.
or
Yes, we can input the data. Okay. See, already we discussed this one. Once again, it is an integrated Excel like, not Excel. It is an integrated spreadsheet for data related operations. Data related operations, not only for data driven testing, you can store output also. That's why I am saying data related operations. It is an integrated spreadsheet for data related operations. Next, navigation. View menu, data. Next, data table has two types of sheets, Nagesh. Data table has
Global and action sheets.
Two types, not two sheets, two types of sheets. Put mute. One is global sheet. One is global sheet. It is for entire test. For entire test. Next, action sheets, or you can say local sheets, for specific actions. Suppose default one action means one global sheet, one action sheet in default test, two sheets. Suppose in our test 10 actions are there, then 10 action sheets, one global, 10 action sheets. See, Surasri, here one small question. Global sheet for entire test. You can use global sheet for entire test. Action sheets for specific actions. Suppose we have two actions in our test. First action sheet for first action, second action sheet for second action, global sheet for two actions, means for entire test. Suppose if global sheet for entire test, then what is the use of action sheets? Why separate action sheets?
Sir, basically, we are dividing the entire test into small parts, right? So action one, like for example, login is the in our flight reservation
Okay,
thing.
you
So
drag, don't drag.
login is first.
Don't drag.
Huh?
Don't drag. Give a straightforward explanation. You are explaining unrelated things. See, my question is, if global sheet is for entire test, then why action sheets? Okay, simple. Global sheet you can use for all actions. But one problem is there. The problem is, suppose in our test 3 actions are there. For first action, 10 iterations required. First action data driven. Second action one time execution. Third action one time execution. Suppose if we use global sheet, what will happen? It will iterate 10 times for all actions, means entire test. Suppose 3 actions are there in our test. Only one action requires data driven testing. If we use global sheet, what will happen? All actions iterate. If we use action sheet for that particular action, only first action will be 10 times, remaining action 1 time. Got this point, Surasri? Any confusion?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. J1, understand the concept. Purpose of action sheet.
Yes, sir.
What is the purpose of action sheet? See, if you want to perform data driven testing for specific action, use action sheet only. If you use global sheet, it will iterate entire test. Say, if you want to perform data driven testing, if you want to perform data driven testing for particular action, suppose if only one action in your test, then no difference between global and action sheet. If you want to perform data driven testing for particular action, then use action sheet only. Use action sheet only. Sneha, if we use global sheet in this scenario, what will happen? See, observe, test. Here, action 1. Action 1. Login. Login only one time required. Login only one time. Next, action 2. Insert order. Put mute. 10 times. Next, action 3. Fax order. 1 time. Observe J1. In this scenario, if you use global sheet, what will happen?
It will either be 1 time or 10 time for everything.
10 time for every operation. Login 10 times, insert order 10 times, fax order 10 times, entire test 10 times. Say in data table 10 records are there, then it will iterate 10 times that entire test. Suppose if we use action 2 sheet for insert order, action 2 sheet for insert order, then insert order only insert order will be executed 10 times, login 1 time, fax order 1 time only. Okay na Sneha, any confusion? Shall we move to next topic?
Clear, sir.
Okay, cool. See, 3 points we discussed. First one, definition. It is an integrated spreadsheet for data related operations. Next, how to launch, view menu, data. Next, data table has two types of sheets, action sheets and global sheet. If it is multiple actions, multiple action sheets. Data table has two types of sheets, global sheet and action or local sheets. Next point, UFT attach one data table. UFT attach one data table for every new test. Say it is test level feature, not tool level feature. Suppose if you create 100 tests in your project, then UFT creates 100 data tables. Next point, data table located in two areas. Nagesh, data table located in two areas. What are the two areas?
In the view menu and runtime, we can see the data table, and even while writing the test, also we can see view under the view menu. We can see the data table.
Okay. See, first location in UFT tool main window, any menu, main window. Here name is design time data table. Design time. See, certification exam point of view, these terms are important. Concentrate. Design time data table. Next, another location in UFT result window. Here name is runtime data table. Runtime data table nothing but carbon copy of design time data table. What is the use of runtime data table? I will show in practical chapter. Runtime data table. Next, last point, important point, usage of data table. Usage of data table. Say first usage, enter test data, directly into data table and connect to the test. See, connecting to the test is mandatory for every usage. See, enter test data directly into data table and connect to the test. Second one, import test data from external files. Here you can use either text or Excel. Import text data from external files and connect to the test. Test is different, test data is different. We have to connect test data with the test. Next, import test data import test data from a database and connect to the test. See, these three are the regular usages, and fourth one, mixed, hybrid. See, data operations using data table and programmatic statements. See, this is hybrid approach. Data table is tool feature. Programmatic statements VB script. We mix programmatic statements in order to overcome limitations of tool features. We cannot overcome all limitations, at least some limitations. Say, why we mix programmatic statements with tool features? In order to overcome limitations of tool features. Here, what are the limitations of data table and how to overcome, that I will explain in this fourth usage, hybrid usage. Now tell me, Jeevan, usage of data table. Four types of usage we discussed. What are they?
Enter test data directly into data table. Then import test data from external file like
and
text
connect
or
it to
external.
the test. Don't forget that one. Connecting test data to the test is mandatory task in every usage. Continue.
Then importing test data from database and connect to test. Then the data operations using data table and programmatic statements.
Data table and programmatic statements. Okay. See next steps. Steps for data driven testing using data table. Steps for data driven testing using data table. See common steps for all types of usage. First step, generate the basic test and run it once. Why running the test once? Dry run, to make sure whether the script is executing without errors or not. Suppose if script has errors, it may interrupt data driven testing. First generate the basic test and run it once. Next, enter or import. See common steps. Enter or import test data. Next, connect test data with the test. Next, run the test. See, for connecting test data with the test, we have three possibilities. First one, using editor view or using keyword view or using data driver. See this data driver available in options menu. See these are the steps. Tell me, Parvin, steps for data driven testing using data table.
Okay. Generate the basic test and run it once.
Good.
Enter or import test data and see connect test data with the test. And we have three possibility. One is using editor view, another using keyword view, and another one is data driver.
Using data driver. Okay.
Yes.
Next, last step.
Run the test.
Run the test. Okay. Put mute. See, I will show example. Concentrate. See, first step, generate the basic test. See, I am taking the new test. You can use record or keyword driven methodology or descriptive programming. No issues. See, run it once. See, in this test, I am not inserting any verification point. In future examples, I will insert a verification point. Now just plain execution. See, executing. Next, second step, launch data table. Next, enter or import the test data. Okay, first enter test data directly into data table. Say here A, B, C, D column names. You can use those column names, otherwise you can use your own names. Click on this column header, double click on column header. Agent. Next, password. Next, enter test data, test 1. See, test 2, 3, 4, 5. See here fixed password Mercury, but in real time you can use different passwords for your applications. Say I prepared 5 sets of data. Next, connect test data. See, we have 3 possibilities, but best one is using, just a minute. Best one is using editor view. Why? I will show the reason. Just remember, best possibility is using editor view. See, syntax, using editor view. data table, not case sensitive, of column name or column ID. See, first column 1, comma, sheet name or sheet ID. See, data table of column name or column ID, sheet name or sheet ID. Now tell me, Surasri, connect agent name. Connect agent name.
Sir, data table.
Data table.
Column name is agent.
Of means open bracket. Column
Of
name
agent.
agent.
Yeah.
See, you can use agent like this. Agent is string type data. Use double quotes. Otherwise, very simple. Column ID. What is the agent name column ID? 1.
Yeah, 1.
Next sheet
and
ID.
The another thing will be
1 only.
1.
Global sheet also 1. Column
Yes.
ID 1. Sheet ID 1. Next.
Data
table of
2, 1.
2, 1.
2,
Sheet same.
1.
Sheet same.
Yes.
Column different. If you want to observe the test execution process, insert wait statement. It is optional. See. Just a minute. Run the script. See, first it is taking test 1. Test 2. Test 3. Test 4. Last record, test 5. I didn't insert any verification point. Launch result window. Last run results. Just a minute. Otherwise you can launch result. Okay, launching. Say 5 iterations. Next, connect test data using keyword view. See, first constant values as it is. Suppose A, B, C, D. Next, Mercury. Switch to keyword view, view menu, keyword view. See, select value, agent name value in value column, configure the value. See here, instead of constant, use parameter, data table parameter. See, select column, agent, global sheet, sheet global only. Okay. Next, password, parameter, password, sheet global only. Next, switch to editor view. See, same generated na Nagesh, but this time column name, next sheet ID, sheet name. Earlier we used column ID, sheet ID. This time it generated column name, sheet name. See, for sheet name, DT global sheet, no double quotes required. It is a reserved word. Okay, na Nagesh?
Yeah, okay, sir.
See, just run. It will execute. You can use either column name or column ID or sheet name or sheet ID. See, test 1 executing. Next, one more possibility. Data driver. Data driver are available in option tools menu. Tools menu. Just a minute. Test 3 running. Last record test 5. Say Muhammad Kamal, once again just constant values as it is. See, data available in data table. Now connect test data with the test using keyword view. Sohail, keyword view. Earlier,
Yes, sir. Go to the keyword view. Go to the view menu.
Switch to keyword view.
Yes, sir. Switch to keyword view. In the value column, just
agent name value. Configure the value.
Parameter.
Instead of constant, select parameter option. Next.
Name. Agent.
Global sheet.
Yes,
Okay.
global sheet. Click OK.
Next.
Again, yes.
See, switch to editor view.
Yes,
same. Next, third option, using data driver. See, A, B, C, D. Mercury, constant values. See, tools menu, data driver. Here select agent name value ABCD, parameterize all, parameter options. Here data table, select column name agent, sheet global. OK, finish. First one over. Second one, select password value Mercury, parameterize, parameter options, select sheet password, global sheet, select column password, sheet global only. OK, finish. OK. See, observe. Same. column name comma sheet name generated. See once again. Tell me J1, connect test data using data driver.
Yeah, we need to go to tools menu.
Tools menu.
Data driver.
Data driver.
Click on it.
Select first value and parameterize. See first value. Parameterize.
Parameterize all. Yeah. Finish.
Parameter options. Here data table okay. Select column name.
Yeah, agent.
Agent. Sheet global only. Default global okay. Finish. Next select second value. Parameterize. Parameter options. Select column password default global sheet only okay. Finish. Okay. See this is about connecting test data using editor view, using keyword view, using data driver. Next, tell me Varalakshmi, which one is the best option out of these three? Vaishali, you tell me.
Editor view.
Editor view is the best option. Why?
Yes,
that I will explain in practical chapter. Try to use editor view only. Editor view only. Okay. Next, second way of second usage of data table. First usage, enter test data directly into data table and connect. Second one, import test data from Excel from external files and connect to the test. From external files, you can use either text files or Excel files. See, observe. First generate the basic test. Activate the dialog. Enter agent name. Enter password. Click OK. Close the window. Stop recording. Run it once. See, it is executing. Next, import test data from external files, either flat file or Excel file. See, first I am creating flat file, text file. Flat file means file which doesn't have any format. Example, notepad. Suppose test data. Say if you want to use text file as resource, two syntax rules. One is data table considers text file first line as column headers. Next, in between two fields, tab space is the delimiter. Here fixed delimiter. Suppose if it is file system object model, Excel object model, there we use our own delimiters, that is pure scripting that we will discuss in VB script. Now we are using tool feature. Here some default concepts are there, we have to follow them. Say two syntax rules. say if you want to use text file as a resource, then two syntax rules. Vaishali, what are the two syntax rules, Vaishali? First one, Parvin, data table considers Muhammad.
Yes, sir. First rule is data table consider first row as column headers.
Not row. In text files, no row concept. Line. See, text
First
file.
line, yes, sir.
First line as column headers. Next, second one, in between two columns, tab space. Tab space is the delimiter, separator. Next, if you want to use Excel file as a resource, then one syntax rule, only one syntax rule. If you want to use Excel file as resource, then one syntax rule. Anyhow, here delimiter not required. Excel has format, tabular format, rows and columns. No delimiter required. At here only one syntax rule. Data table considers Excel file first row as column headers. Data table considers Excel file first row as column headers. Observe. Agent password. Agent password. First line. It will consider as column header. Even though you enter data, it considers, data table considers as column headers only. Next, test1 tab password Mercury. Next, test2 Mercury. Next, forget about alignment. Tab space is the delimiter. Save. Next, Excel file. Suppose file name input. Here only one syntax rule. First row as column headers. Agent password. Test1 Mercury. See next, first use text file. Launch data table, view menu data. Next, place mouse pointer on data table. Just a minute. Place mouse pointer on data table and right click, file, import from file. See, column headings imported table should match. Okay. Browse path of the file, desktop, all files. Test data. Observe J1. Test data imported na?
Yes, sir.
Next, remaining steps common. What are the remaining steps? Connect test data and run the test. You know how to connect test data. Just a minute. Using editor view. Tell me, Sneha, how to connect this test data using editor view. Sneha, respond. Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
If you don't know, say no. No problem. But don't be in silent mode. Okay, cool. Put mute. Surasri. Surasri. No, Surasri. Vaishali, continue. Connect test data.
Yeah, data table.
Data table.
Table of one.
Column name, column ID 1, comma sheet ID
1,
also
comma 1.
1.
Yeah.
Next.
Same as, data table of 2, comma 1.
Data table of column ID 2, sheet same. Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is about connecting using editor view. Sneha, any difficulty? First, I already explained syntax and example. Then what is the problem? Try to follow. Suppose if you have any difficulty, ask me. Don't follow blindly. See, very simple. Data table. This data table is utility object. Data table of column ID or column name, comma, sheet ID or sheet name. Suppose instead of 1, use column name. What is the column name? Suppose agent. See, it is string type data, use double quotes. If it is number, no double quotes. See, password. Okay. Next, import test. Okay, now, Sneha, any confusion?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Next, import test data from Excel file. It is new test from Excel file. Place mouse pointer on data table anywhere. File, import from, see, first launch data table. Place mouse pointer on data table and right click. File, import from file. Okay. Next, browse path of the file. Imported. Next, remaining steps common. What are the remaining steps? Connect test data with the test and run the test. See, this is about import test data from external files. Next, import test data from a database. Any database. Say, for files, no formalities. If you want to import data from any file, no formalities. But if it is database, some formalities are there. In between front end and back end, database connectivity required. In this scenario, backend is database, any database, front end is UFT tool. In between UFT and database connection string required. UFT has provided a facility to create DSN. Anyhow, DSN creation is one-time activity. Once you create DSN, you and your team members can use it. See, third type of usage, using data table, using database. Import test data from a database and connect to the test. See here steps. First step, create a database. Next, see, create a database, one-time activity. Next, create tables, one-time activity. Suppose in your project 30 tests require database testing. You create 30 tables. You and your team members can use. Next, enter test data. See, these three are the preliminary steps. Next, create DSN. It is also one-time activity. DSN stands for data source name. Already we discussed. If it is file, no formalities. You can directly import. If it is database, formalities are there. In between front end and back end, database connection required. Next, last step, fetch test data. Fetch test data using SQL commands, SQL commands. Already we discussed. UFT has an integrated SQL engine. We can execute SQL commands directly in UFT tool editor. See, these are the 5 steps. See, concentrate. See, create a database, any database. Say I am using MS Access, you can use Oracle or SQL Server. See, blank database, test DB, storing on desktop. See, database created. Next, create tables. See, field name, agent, data type text, field name, password, data type text. Save the table. Suppose table name, login. OK. See, it is asking for primary key, not required. Next, another table. See, you can create multiple tables in a database. Order number, data type number, save. Suppose table name, orders. No primary key required. See, enter test data. Test 1, Mercury. say test 2, test 3, test 4, test 5. Save. Next, orders 1. You can use any numbers. 3, 8, 10, 15, 19, 20, etc. Save. Say I created database and 2 tables and I entered data. Next, fourth step, create DSN. It is also one-time activity. Concentrate how to create DSN. First, launch data table, view data. See, place mouse pointer on data table and right click, sheet, import from database. Here select specify SQL statement manually option. Why not first option? Create query using Microsoft query. If you want to use first option, Microsoft query software required. If it is second option, you can type the statement. See, select specify SQL statement manually option. Click next. Next, click create. Next, click new. And one more thing, default location for storing DSN. But no issue, you can store on desktop or C drive or E drive. But default location is there. Sometimes in certification exam also they ask. Default location for storing DSN, but no issue, you can store in another location also, but this is default location. Where? C drive, program files, next common files, ODBC, data sources. This is the default location. Tell me J1, default location for storing DSN. Guide me.
C drive, program files,
Files,
common
files,
ODBC,
data sources. This is the location. Okay, just last navigation. Continue this one. Launch data table. Place mouse pointer on data table. Sheet import from database. Next, select second option. Specify SQL statement manually. Click next. Click create. No data source available. Click new. Select database type. Our see here, Oracle available, SQL Server and others available. Ours is MS Access. Next, click browse. I want to this data sources default location only. See, this is the default location. Otherwise, you can store in another location. Suppose DSN name, flights, any meaningful name you can use. Save. Just a minute. sheet import from database, specify SQL statement manually. Next, create new MS Access, browse flights, save. Next, say DSN created. Now associate the DSN with our database. Select browse path of the database. Database available on desktop. testdb.mdb. OK. Again OK. Now DSN created and associated with our database. Select DSN. Next, see connection string generated. Enter SQL statement. Select star from table name. Login. Finish. See data imported. Remaining steps common. What are the remaining steps? Connect test data with the test and run the test. See, take new test. DSN already created. Anyhow, that is one-time activity. Now, for this new test, I have orders table data, another table. How? Launch data table. Right click, place mouse pointer on data table and right click, sheet, import from database, specify SQL statement manually, click next, click create. See DSN already available, select DSN. Next, enter as connection string generated, enter SQL statement, select star from orders. Orders is table name. Finish. See orders table data imported. Can you view this data? Muhammad Sohail, can you view the data?
Yes, sir.
See next, connect test data with the test. Just a minute. Just a minute. Last navigation for the week. You remove that DSN. Once again we will create C drive, program files, common files, ODBC, data sources, delete the DSN. Next, guide me Parvin, guide me, create DSN for our database, test DB available on desktop, create DSN, guide me. Say yes or no, don't be in silent mode. Parvin.
No, sir.
Okay, Surasri, continue. Surasri.
Sir, yes, sir. Click anywhere on the data table.
Right click.
Then right click. Sheets. Then import. Then from database. Then specify SQL statement manually. Then next. Then create new. Then Microsoft Access. Next. Browse.
Enter DSN name.
Yes. So, for example, flight.
Okay.
Or okay, whatever.
Okay. Flights.
Flight. Save. Next. Finish.
Now DSN created.
Now we have to connect
We
basically.
have to associate the DSN with our database.
Yeah, associate the DSN with the database.
Good.
Correct.
Desktop, select the
Desktop.
database. Okay.
Yeah, whatever file we had created.
Again,
Yes.
okay. Next,
Okay.
DSN created and associated with our database. Select DSN.
Yes.
Click OK. See connection
And
string generated.
And then, yeah, the string, select star select from star from, then the table name, basically.
Name,
So it is login.
SQL statements are not case sensitive. See, over. Anyhow, it is one-time activity. Now, Parvin, already DSN created. I want another table data for this new test. Fetch the data. Parvin, it is very simple. You tell me, Sneha. Sneha. Sneha.
Sir? What?
Already DSN available. I want to fetch another table, orders table data for this new test. Fetch.
Orders data table.
Concentrate, Sneha. Concentrate. This is second time I am showing this navigation. Okay. Put mute. Nagesh.
Right click on data table. Seat. Import from database. Select the second radio button. Specify the SQL statement manually. Click on next. Click on already DSN is available, right,
Available.
sir?
Click create.
Click create.
Create. Select
the flights.
Select available DSN.
Click on OK.
Connection string generated. Next, enter SQL statement.
Select star from orders.
Select star from orders. It is table name.
Yes. Click on finish.
See, generated. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We will meet on Monday, same time. Thank you.
Sir,
I will call you.
it's Mohammed Sohail. Okay, sir.
Muhammad, I will call you.